Hey everybody, Southern Sage. Since we're going to talk about gardening this week again, I thought we'd start with an update on the garden tour and see what all's changed in the last 2 weeks. So we're starting out on the seed starting stand, where we can see that the baby tomatoes are coming up nicely. I planted these a week ago. The peppers are being a little slower, so they are not yet coming up yet. Over here, celery is being a little procrastinating, but the basil is germinating well. So are the marigolds, and the petunias are just starting to come up, and okra. Down here we have our succession planting of lettuce. We'll see where the first round of those ended up in the garden shortly. And still under lid, we have a whole bunch of nasturtiums that will go out into the garden to be edible flowers and protection for squash. Now, let's head outside where the real stuff is happening. So if we look out here, in the last 2 weeks, the cabbage and broccoli moved outside, and now most of them have found their way in the ground. You will see some of what we just walked by get planted in a different video this week. Our elderberry cuttings are doing well. They are starting to leaf out. If we look very carefully, we can see tiny little leaves starting to sprout. So with a little bit of luck, we will get to see some elderberry plants in this row soon. The strawberries over here are also starting to come up. We can see strawberry plants pushing up their first leaves to say hi to spring. In our first bed, in these holes, you can see where I have started planting cabbages. And here in a little bit, I'll record a video planting those so you can see how I plant cabbages into this really deep hay mulch. And we'll talk about the benefits of doing that. The garlics are doing fabulously. In these beds, we have onions transplanted around. You can see these little guys. And potatoes in the middle. So these 4 beds are all planted with onions and potatoes. So that's my spring easy keeping calories and onions. And in the middle of this bed, if we look very, very carefully, we can see some tiny lettuces. So this is where the lettuce transplants from the last video ended up. So there's a whole row of them down the middle here. They're currently hidden by the mulch, but will eventually be a beautiful line of green salads. And then, another big change since the last video, we have moved the stock tanks down here. Per the garden plan, we have reassembled this one as a wicking bed, and the last of our little lettuce plants went in here. So we'll talk about wicking beds in a different video, but the basic concept is I put water in here. It fills up a stone reservoir in the bottom of this up to this weep hole. When it comes out of the weep hole, I stop filling it. From here up is soil. So the plants planted in the top have about 18 inches of soil to grow in that is constantly bottom watered from the reservoir below. So it's a super water efficient way of growing, and I highly recommend it. I have been chewing through this. If you go back and look at the last video, which I'll link at the end of this one, you will notice that all of this mulch was not there. So in the process of getting all of the aisles in the garden mulched so they look nice, don't require mowing, because why the crap would I take a lawnmower in my garden, and are ready to be walked on for this season. I also have ginger planted in this pot, so hopefully it will come up soon. These pots are waiting for Roselle hibiscus, which is started in a pot over in the metal trays, but isn't quite ready yet. So my garden update, I would say, everything is doing very well. All the spring things are in, and I look forward to talking to you about some of the spring guild plantings I'm doing, how they work, and why you should do them too over the course of this week. Enjoy. Bye.